So in today's class, you're going to learn how to do a bodice draft for a 5-year-old girl. I'd like to say a massive thank you to everybody who's subscribed to this channel. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, I advise that you subscribe now and hit on the notification bell so that you'll be notified anytime a new video is uploaded. We are getting ready to host our red carpet event, which is going to be a fashion show, awards celebration, and an exhibition. And we'll be doing a lot of projects, and as we keep planning, we'll be filming most of the projects we are doing so that you can also do them along with us. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified anytime a new video is uploaded. So let's get on right with it. So like I said, we're going to be doing a bodice draft for a 5-year-old girl, and then we'll further go ahead to use the bodice into garments. Okay, so what you're going to need is your drafting paper. This could be a brown paper like I have in front of me, a baking sheet. It could be a proper draft paper. It could also even be the reverse side of your wrapping paper. You know, it could be anything you can draft on basically, and that would do. You need your ruler, you need your armhole curve, a pencil, an eraser, and your tape measure. So let's go on with it. I will draft in pencil, and when I'm done, I'll use my permanent marker to go through the lines just so that it will be visible to you. So the first thing you're going to do is just to do a casual line up here, okay? This line will serve as a shoulder of your model. So on this line, we are going to be measuring the neck width and then your shoulder. So my neck width for my model is going to be 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my 3 inches marking from here to here. Okay, I'll just put in 3 inches marking. That's my neck width, and then on from there on this line I'm going to be measuring 4 inches. Okay, now from the 4 inches mark, drop it down by ½ an inch. Okay, and then connect this point to that point here. Now it's on this line that is going to be your shoulder slant. You can see that our shoulder is not as straight as this line, it slants. So we are going to carry on. At this point, we're going to be finding our shoulder to shoulder measurement and divide it into 2. All right, so my shoulder to shoulder measurement is 9.75. So 9.75 divided by 2, and that will give us 4.87, or let's say 4.9. Okay, so it means that all of this should be 4.9, but we've already taken our 3 inches neck width measurement. So whatever we are left with will be for the shoulder measurement. All right, so I'm going to take away from my answer, which I have now as the 4.875 or 4.9 as a round figure. Let's run it up to 4.9. So I'm going to do 4.9 minus our neck width, which is the 3 inches, and I'll be left with 1.9. Okay, so on this slant is where I'm going to be measuring my 1.9. Okay, so this is 1.5, 1.9. I'm going to put it here quite close to my 2 inches mark. So I put 1.9 here. So this becomes our shoulder slant measurement. Now from this point here is where we are going to be dropping down the armhole measurement. All right, so my armhole depth, armhole depth is 5.5. Okay, I have it here. But to determine the armhole depth, there is a calculation, and if you want to go by the calculation, that will have to be your chest measurement, which is 24 inches divided by 6 plus 1.5. Okay, so when you work that out, you see that that brings you to 5.5 inches. So from this line, I'm going to drop it down a perpendicular line at 5.5 inches mark. Drop down. Okay, make sure that your line is perpendicular enough. Okay, so 5.5, that ends it here, and I'll draw that line up straight away. Now it's at this point that we're going to be getting our horizontal chest line, and like you know, my chest line is 24 inches. So I'm going to be dividing that by 4, because like I said earlier, we are doing a quarters block. Okay, so 24 divided by 4 is 6. So I'm just going to do a straight line here. And then on this line, I'm going to be marking my 6 inches mark as my chest line. And that ends here. Okay, so this is where my chest ends, my chest mark ends. Now let's try and develop our armhole curve. So on this armhole depth line, which is 5.5 inches, we are going to be finding the midpoint for this line. Okay, so the easiest thing is just to fold your tape measure into 2 equal halves like that, and then that becomes my midpoint. So my midpoint is here. Okay, at this point I'm going to move backwards half an inch, and then we can now develop our armhole curve from there. So just get your armhole curve, and then you connect the line like that, then carry on connecting your line to this. So we've developed our front armhole curve. All right, the next thing is to plot in our shoulder to waist measurement, or others will call back to waist measurement. So my shoulder to waist measurement is 10 inches. So this, I'm going to be starting from here, put my ruler here, not here but here, because this happens to be the nape of your neck point. Okay, so from that point coming down, you're going to measure your 10 inches mark, and that is here. Just find where the spot is, put it there, and then draw a horizontal line across. Okay, make sure that all your lines are very much in place. Okay, now once you do the horizontal line, we are going to now plot in waist circumference on a quarter. Okay, so the waist circumference is 21.5 inches. So that divided by 4 is what is going to give us a measurement for our waist. All right, so the easiest you can also do is to find 21.5 inches on your tape measure, and that brings me to this bit here. So I'm going to put my tape measure into 2 equal halves like this, 21.5 like this. So this is my first half, and as you know, because we are doing it on a quarters block, I'm going to fold it again, and that will give me the quarter measurement. So that is around 5.37, which is here. Okay, I'm just going to put that mark in like that. At this point, you can decide to end here, or you can carry on to develop the hip measurement if you want to go further down hip measurement. So you can do your shoulder to your hip measurement, and mine is 13 inches. Okay, so I'm going to try and find shoulder to hip measurement, because for most children you end it at the waist and then you carry on with the gathers or with a pleat or something else at the bottom. So it's all right to end at the waist, but I want to go further down to the hip, just in case I want to do something beyond that point. I've already developed my bodice block. So my shoulder to my hip measurement is 13. I just put a point in, and like we did for the waist, put a straight line, put a horizontal line across, and then we will plot in a hip circumference measurement. Okay, so my hip circumference measurement is 25 inches. As always, find 25 inches on your tape measure. Put the tape measure into 2 equal halves like that. And then after you found the half, put it again into another half. That brings us here. Okay, and then plot that measurement in. All right, so I'm going to be connecting all these points. Okay, so that is it. We just round this place up a bit because our body is not as sharp, and basically that will be it. Now let's plot in let me just label it so we know what: chest, waist, and hip. Okay, because it's a child, we don't need to plot in any dots because they've not developed breast yet. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put in our neckline. So I'm going to be dropping my neckline by 3.5 inches down. Okay, as the neck, you can always do whatever it is you want to do. 3.5 inches, 3.25, 3 inches down. Anything else will help depending on the style you want to do, but I think that I want to go down 3.5 inches, and I think that's all right for a 5-year-old. Okay, so at this point we just get our armhole curve and then put in a U neckline for the basic bodice block. All right, so that is it. So this is what front bodice draft is. Now the back bodice block is going to be basically the same way as what we have here. The only difference will be with our neckline, with our armhole, and probably be leaving a zip allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paper ready, and then we come back and carry on with the back draft for this bodice block. All right, so I've gone ahead to trace the outline out, your neckline depth and width out, trace your armhole depth, and everything else on the bottom here. You're going to trace it out. You don't have to do your front armhole curve because, like I said, that is much different from the back one. And I also left zip allowance here, so let me put zip allowance at this point over here. Now from your back armhole, from your back neckline, all you're going to do is drop it from this line to this place 1 inch. All right, and then get your armhole curve to put in the curve over there. Okay, and carry it out. Okay, into your zip allowance. From your front armhole curve, just do the armhole drop or your armhole depth, and then find the midpoint. What you're going to do for that one is just to carry on from this point to finish off your curve. Okay, so you make sure that your curve is ending at the same place with the front armhole curve, as you can see. So basically that is it for the back draft for a 5-year-old. We are done. I'm going to try and see if I can use my permanent marker to trace out. So what I have done is to just do the main bodice draft without seam allowances. Okay, I like to work that way. So when I'm cutting out, I leave my seam allowance on the main fabric as I work. But to work that way, you're going to have to leave 1 inch seam allowance on the side. So I'm just going to give you a draft example just so that you know what you're going to be doing. So just measure your 1 inch seam allowance, and then you leave it on the side. So when you're cutting, you know that you've already left your 1 inch seam allowance. You can do that. Okay, so let me write seam allowance there. Then on the side of the armhole curve, you're going to be leaving ½ inch, so ½ inch on the side. Okay, this is me just eyeballing. ½ inch, ½ inch at the top here, ½ inch at the neckline area as well for your seam allowance, and ½ inch at the bottom as well. Okay, all right, so basically that is it. We've come to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give our video a thumbs up, and don't forget to share as well. It gives us encouragement to know that anytime we post a video, we have audience. Until we meet again in our next video. Oh,